Ground control to Major Tom.
Bandeliga hola boo. Morning, and welcome to the Angry Hour. If you're in any way an aficionado of the afternoon programme and you enjoy the Wonderful Hour and you haven't heard anything like it, you can guess what the Angry Hour is. So free call 0500 10 53 89. It's kind of the opposite of the Wonderful Hour. It's built along the same beautiful, curvaceous lines as the Wonderful Hour. And it's ideal for a Monday, isn't it? Because we all feel a little ire, a little acid, don't we? Don't we, on most Mondays? So free call 0500 10 53 89 if it's made you angry. It doesn't have to be a blinding fury, although that's fine. It can be just something that you find a little bit annoying, and you have to deal with it quite a lot in your life. And rarely get an opportunity to say to somebody like your loved one or a member of your family or a colleague that you find it, a bit irritating because it would somehow seem rather petty. There's loads of things like that in life. For example, at the beginning of each show, I make a point of saying at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, good morning. And I get mail asking me why. And it's simply my way of fighting back against those very petty-minded people who answer the telephone. You phone them at 2 minutes past midday, and they always go, good morning. Oh, no, sorry, it's afternoon, isn't it? And it's that little piece of pedantry that gets in the way of the process. It's entirely irrelevant, isn't it? Entirely irrelevant. The argument can be had. I just don't want to hear it going on in their own heads. The pedantry about whether it's morning or afternoon is neither here nor there. So in my own sweet way, forgive me, I fight back by saying good morning at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, you might find that annoying. In which case, free call 0500 10 53 89. It is the Angry Hour between 2 and 3 this Monday afternoon on Talk Radio. On Talk Radio. Then there's those people who, if you say to them in the morning, for want of a conversation, you say, oh, did you see that thing on Channel 4 last night at 8 o'clock? They will say, no, we were watching the documentary about the cruise, and it was very interesting because there was this bit where a man... And the point is, you didn't ask them. You weren't interested in what they saw at 8 o'clock. You wanted to tell them about something that you'd seen. And, it's a failure of their social skills. But you can't say, because it sounds selfish. So you stand there and you listen to their dull story about the programme they watched. It makes you angry? Yeah, a little bit. Let's share the things that make each other angry. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Milk cartons, obviously. And driving just about anywhere. Doing just about anything on the roads. I find almost everything connected with pneumatic tyres. Yes. Just whitens my knuckles a tad. Hang on a second, let me have a word with the team. Are you there, Philippa?
Angry.
No, hang on. Are you there? I thought we could try a cod version of that song.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked about it just before we came on air, because it helps illustrate some of the things that make us angry in a vaguely entertaining way. Are you fully rehearsed?
I am.
I don't think you are.
The person you were calling knows you are waiting. Please hold the line.
I didn't ask you to do it. Now you've done it now. So that's the joke gone before we've had the feed line. So thanks. Hopeless.
Does that make you angry, Tommy?
No, sort of resigned, really. Shall we try it then? Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
On a cue from me. Now listen, if you want to contribute to the Angry Hour, you don't have to give a performance, because I'm not going to give a performance now. Okay, here we go. I've always wanted to do this with a particular piece of entertainment. Such a lousy day. Got angrier trying to park, and then joined the wrong queue for the M62, then phoned home.
Please hold the line.
Not yet. Not yet. I've got another verse.
Sorry.
Not yet. Can I...
We got this right in rehearsal.
We talked about it for 15 seconds over a cup of coffee, and you're so cocksure of yourself. That's what private education does.
Yeah.
Right, where were we? Then phoned home. Such a lousy day. I thought I'd share it with you.
Please hold the line. The person you are calling...
While we try to connect you.
The person you are calling knows you are waiting. Please hold the line while we try to connect you.
You just keep me hanging on. You just keep me hanging
The
on.
person you are calling knows you're waiting. Please hold the line while we try to connect you.
Such a lousy day. I'd like to share it with you. It's a lousy day.
Please hold the line while we try
I
to connect you.
stubbed my
The
big
person you are
toe
calling knows you're
so
waiting.
hard
Please hold the line while we try to connect
it
you.
made me go cross-eyed. Then the cash machine ate my card. So I'm skint with a splint.
Please hold the
And a
line
squint.
while we try to connect you. The person you are calling
Well,
knows
I think they've
you're
got the
waiting.
idea. I think the listener has the idea. We won't do this again, but hey, it felt good, didn't it?
Oh,
Giving
yeah,
it a go. You've got to
absolutely.
take chances and run scared. Now we
do.
know something else we can't do, which I find kind of empowering.
Maybe we should have just given it that extra 5 seconds over the coffee machine.
Philippa, answer the phones.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you angry, however enormous, however global, or however parochial, domestic, trivial, minute. Sometimes things that just irritate you a little bit can end up making you very, very angry. Whatever it is that makes you angry, get it off your chest with us. It'll make you feel better, and funnily enough, it'll make us all feel better as well. Because in all probability, the things that make you angry are the things that make everybody angry. That number again is free call 0500 1053 89. It's exactly the same as the Wonderful Hour, except it isn't. It is what it says it is. If you're angry, if you are angry now, whatever you're angry about, free call 0500 1053 89. More than likely, you'll be thinking about calling the programme and getting something off your chest that made you angry a while ago. It might have happened this morning or during the week. Or let me put it this way. Free call 0500 1053 89. What's the angriest you've ever been? Now, I know international tension can make you... Well, I don't know. It doesn't actually make many people very angry, actually. We tend to get more angry if, like, we're waiting for a bus for 20 minutes when there's one due every 7 and then 3 come along. That does make us angry. Or if you go to buy a pint and they've been open for 3 hours and they've done a lot of business and you have to pay with a 20 because that's all you get out of those holes in the wall, and the chap says, have you got anything smaller? And you don't want to give him that fiver or pay in change because you need it yourself, and so you say no, and so you get, looks as if, oh, you are a nuisance coming in here buying our beer. Free call 0500 1053 89. What makes you angry? Whatever makes you angry. It's delicious to get it off your chest. And I pledge you this during the Angry Hour. Whatever makes you angry, however angry you get, we promise on this show to agree with you. I'm sure your anger is justified. Free call 0500 1053 89. Of the gamut of human emotions, anger is not only the rawest, I do believe it's the most honest. Honest. Let's start.
Talk to Tommy Boyds. Free call 0500 1053 89. 0500 1053 89.
And it's half term, and you might not have been told, in which case you didn't need to leave home at 8:10 in order to avoid the traffic outside the school. You could have had another 10 minutes with your toast and coffee. They should tell you when half term is coming up. Free call 0500 1053 89 with whatever makes you angry. Peter's on the line from Leeds. You're on Talk Radio, Pete. What makes you angry?
Well, it's not a particularly original subject, but it's mainly to do with buses. The fact that they always seem to be late, and they often just knock completely. They just don't turn up at all.
Yeah, where do they go? How do they do that? Where do they go?
Well, I don't know, Tommy, but you think... I don't know if it's anything to do with deregulation or whatever, but it's just absolutely atrocious. And there's one bus service in Leeds, and this got some publicity recently locally. They've got a policy of just driving past the stop if they're not running to schedule.
Yes.
Just go straight past the stop.
I've heard that.
What is the point of a bus service? It's not a service if it does that, is it?
I'll tell you what it is, man, because the railway station that I used to use, I don't use it any longer. I've boycotted it because it's so hopeless, okay? The station that I used to use, one day a train pulled in and it was 20 minutes late and all the passengers had gone into the foyer area to find out what was going on. And the train pulled in and they sneaked it out without telling the passengers. And I saw them doing this. They were going, oh, just wave it out, wave it out, wave it out. And I spoke to one of the chaps who I get on quite well with about that, and he said, that's what we do. He said, it's partly because we don't like the passengers, because they're always moaning. He said, and the other reason is, he said, our job is to make the trains run on time.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's not. Your job is to get people where they want to go.
It's to pick up passengers. That's what it's there for.
Transport people.
It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't
And if
it?
you say anything to a bus operator, a driver or anything, they'll tell you, well, it's worse for them, won't they?
Do you think that if, say, for example, the bus is late and you're late for work, do you think the bus company should, say, compensate for you?
I do.
Yeah.
I think they should come round and give your house a good old spruce up for you. I think they should provide you with recreation, drinks vouchers, and a woman.
Yeah.
You know. But you try telling them that. Nothing.
Yeah, thanks, Tommy.
3 call 0500 10 53 89. Between now and 3 o'clock, it's a piece of essential therapy. It's sort of a restrained version of that Californian thing, the primal scream. Because life does drive you nuts, doesn't it? But it does, basically. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm amazed that we're not all mad, aren't you? Andrew calls from Southport. You're on Talk Radio. Andrew, hello.
Hello?
Hello, Andrew.
Hi.
What makes you angry?
My geography teacher.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because he's always going on about us getting GCSEs, and I don't really see the point in getting a geography GCSE for what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do?
Own a shop in a mobile phone stop.
And you will be a millionaire.
Yeah.
This time next year, Rodney.
Yeah.
So what do you need geography for?
Well, I don't. That's the point. And he's always putting us down, thinking that we're sick.
Because you don't know what the capital of Thailand is or something? Yeah. Well, you tell your geography teacher, is it a he?
Yeah.
He's very wrong.
Yeah.
He's very stupid, actually. But we won't name him, but he's stupid, isn't he? You know, most people who end up as geography teachers, the only reason they end up as geography teachers is because they weren't any good at anything else.
Yeah.
Did you know that? If you can't do maths or English, then you end up as a geography teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just tell him, Andrew. Tell him I'm not doing jog.
All right.
Tell him.
Okay.
Refuse. Sit there with your arms crossed and pencil in your mouth looking at the ceiling. See what he does.
All right.
He can't make you. Get up and walk out, in fact.
All right.
All of you, get up and walk out.
Okay.
Tell him that this bloke you spoke to, me, right?
Yeah.
Did Yugoslavia as a subject, right? When I did geography O-level. And then what happened? They got rid of Yugoslavia.
All right.
So what good's geography? You know?
That's what I think.
Have you got an atlas in the house?
An atlas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it won't be accurate. Because they keep changing the world.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. How old's the atlas?
Having a clue.
Having a clue? Have a look at it, and if it's got an East and a West Germany, you can tell him that geography's wrong.
All right.
Have a nice half-term. When are you back?
Next week.
Next week. Have a good week.
All right,
Thanks for calling.
See ya.
To Malcolm, who calls from Birmingham. You're on Talk Radio. Malcolm, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Malcolm.
Yeah, do you know what really, really, really makes me angry?
No.
I mean, well, there's a lot of things that really make me angry. But,
I'll bet there are.
But you know these radio phone-in shows? You know, where especially while the kids are on holiday, and there you get these that give out this information which could quite possibly get the kids into trouble if they believe what they say. You know what I'm talking about, Tommy, dear?
Yes, obviously. It's transparent. I'm afraid I can tell where someone as thick as you's coming from, Malcolm, about 20 minutes before you're on air. Never mind about when you get on air.
Yeah, I know.
Do you honestly think, Malcolm, that he was as daft as you?
He quite possibly is. I mean, I'm probably thick as anything.
Well, you
where
are.
I come from,
Well, you are. And you needn't worry about the younger generation, Malcolm, because not only are they brighter than you, they've got a better sense of humour than you, too.
The trouble is, Tommy,
None of the trouble is... No, they don't. You need discipline. Your generation, you're the one who caused all the problems. Your generation causes wars. Your generation causes poverty. Your generation causes inequality. The young generation aren't going to do any of that, and that's because people like me know how bright they are and how good they are. And it's people like you who think that they're stupid and irresponsible and a danger to somebody like you just because they occasionally ride their bicycles on the pavement. And why not? It's a lot safer than driving them on the road.
No.
Yes,
I'm on about preventers telling people to walk out of classrooms because they don't like the particular subject, which could cause a lot of kids listening in to do the same thing, and they'll end up in trouble, won't they?
Oh, yeah, you think that... You honestly think that you... Hey, shut up and listen to me. You honestly think you... No, rubbish. I'm talking area.
Rubbish. If you live in the inner city areas, mate, you would know what I'm talking about.
Where do I live then?
Well...
Where do I live then?
Well, I don't know. As far as I know, you live out in Suffolk somewhere or Essex, around that area.
Out on a limb again, aren't you, Mel?
Well...
Hey. Now, I'll tell you what you should do.
Your trouble is you don't...
discipline
in the army.
Yeah, well, it didn't work, did it?
It did, mate.
No, it didn't.
It bloody did.
No, it didn't.
Oh,
it
yes,
didn't,
it
because
did.
you're still a very, very dangerous antisocial character.
Well, that's for being 10 years on the dole, probably.
Yeah, well, your generation caused all that unemployment, mate.
That's right, it
Yeah,
did.
they did. What a useless lot you were.
That's right, and that's
They
why I said
hopeless.
to you when I started, that's why I'm very, very angry at quite a lot of things,
Yeah.
which we can't go into today,
No, well, you
Thomas.
see, that's your trouble, is you're angry about what's happened to you,
Yeah.
right? So instead of taking it out on the people who you ought to, right, you're going to take it out on the younger generation.
Yeah,
and
but
let me tell you
This
something.
is why I'm angry,
if
because we
there's
can't
one
take
thing
it
that's...
out on the people which have done it in the
No,
first
so
place.
why take it out on the younger generation?
Because it's a conspiracy theory, like what you talk about sometimes. It's the whole country's a conspiracy,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
If you think
well,
about it.
I'm
isn't
just
it,
here
Tom?
to tell you something very important about your generation, Malcolm, and that is that the mistrust that you extend to the younger generation is easily the most dangerous thing that's going on in this country today. You can forget the proliferation of drugs. You can forget about crime and law and order. It is the attitude of older people towards younger people that is consigning this country to the same as what we've had before.
You're quite, yes.
And what we need to do is make some changes.
You are quite
And the
right,
goodness
Tommy,
of
there, Tom.
heart,
Yes.
right?
Yes, because a lot
And
of
the
people won't even talk to
integrity
you today. They
and
won't
the
even smile.
energy and the industry that the younger generation are already showing, if you care to look at what they're putting up with and what they're doing,
Yeah.
right, is the best hope we've got for the future.
Well,
And if you
well,
think
the
for
only
one
hope, don't we?
second that any of them are daft enough to think that because somebody on the radio took their side against something as ridiculous as compulsory geography in schools, okay?
No, but
Because
not only
you
that,
tell
Tom, it
me
could be other
anybody
things,
else,
couldn't
you
it?
tell me anybody else who is required by law to sit on a hard wooden seat through the best years of their lives and learn things that they don't want to learn that they know are going to be of no good to them.
Yeah,
You
well,
tell me
yeah,
anybody
no,
else
no.
who puts up with
What
that.
I'm saying is, Tom,
Would
is-
you put up with that?
Well, we had to, didn't we?
Would you put up with that?
We had to, Tom.
Would
that's what
you
I'm
put
saying,
up
and
with it
didn't do
now?
me much. It
Would
didn't-
you put up with it now?
Well, yes.
No.
Yes, because
No.
you have to.
You know you wouldn't.
Not
You
now,
know
because
you
we
wouldn't.
know. We
because you're a
discipline. It's
grown-up.
discipline, isn't it?
No, it's
Yes,
because
it's
no, it's
discipline.
because you're partial. You're an old man.
Now, how old do you think I am?
About 76.
Oh, are you?
You're an old man,
I
and
feel
so
like it sometimes.
and
Tom,
so
I
you're
do.
going to make sure that young people suffer the same way that you did.
No,
and end
no,
up
not
the
so
same
much.
as
no,
you.
No, not suffer
Yeah.
as much as me, but
Right,
to
yeah.
learn a bit of discipline.
Yeah,
No,
rubbish.
You know, I mean,
rubbish.
they've got to have
rubbish.
a little bit.
What you call discipline is what's wrong with the world today. Discipline that you're talking about means utter and total obedience.
No, I
Yes,
don't live in
yes,
Japan.
absolutely.
Christ, that's Japanese way, that is.
Well, you don't know
That's
much about Japan either, do you? Anyway,
Well,
listen,
that's total discipline, isn't it, in Japan?
Anyway, no. Listen, I've got to go because well, 'cause there's a load of other people.
No,
really.
but no, Tom.
No, don't spoil it by going back to where you started. Don't spoil
Some
it.
kids, what I know, would walk out.
No,
They
you
would say they heard Tommy Boyd say it on the radio, and they would walk out to school.
Good,
I know they would,
Good.
because I know some of them round here that would do.
Good.
That's what I'm saying.
good, good.
No, but these are troublemakers, you know what I mean?
Fine,
They're
good.
the type that would, you see.
Good. Good.
Oh,
I hope
well,
they cause you any
okay.
amount of grief because you're trying to cause them grief.
Well, I don't agree with you, Tom.
Oh, I don't.
It's
It's what
people
you
like you that have caused the trouble.
No, you
Thank
started
you.
it. Bye-bye. He got the vote. I would seriously, since people aren't allowed to vote for the first 18 years of their lives, I would deprive people of the vote for the last 18 years of their lives. That is fair. The question is, of course, you then have to calculate how long people are going to live. And that is obviously a tricky one unless you're going to get involved in the process. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's the Angry Hour. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. My wife and I had a good laugh this morning when we heard on the news that it's now been deemed official that teachers are allowed to push and pull children, but they are no longer allowed to hit them or pull them by the hair or the ears. I mean, beagles get better treatment than some children in this country. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Can you imagine what it would be like if the news was applied to the older generation and some group of workers were told that they were allowed to push and pull old people, but they were no longer allowed to hit them or pull them by their ears or what's left of their hair? Honestly. We won't have grown up, will we, as a civilization until we start treating children as simply our equals, that's all. Betters in most cases, but free. Free call 500 10 53 89. It's the Angry Hour. Susan calls from Devon. You're on Talk Radio. Susan, what makes you angry?
What has been making me so angry, Tommy, is how all the trouble with Saddam Hussein is a complete sham. Did you know that Saddam's best mates are Yeltsin, Clinton, Blair, Netanyahu, and all the top leaders, and that they are deliberately planning this war? playing their parts, hence Madeleine Albright, on her travels, making sure everything is in place for Russia and China, pretending to back Saddam against the rest of us. The plan is to devastate Europe, and if one gets trapped in Europe, there will be no mercy. The plan being that they have to be rid of 4/5 of the people in order to bring in a tyranny that almost defies human belief.
Susan, thank you for your contribution. That indeed would irritate me an awful lot. The thought that the bulk of the world's population is about to be got rid of. Free call 0500 10 53 89. No, be honest, that will be irritating. Thank you for your call. Tony calls from Stoke. You're on Talk Radio, Tony.
Hello there, she was a nutcase.
Makes you angry.
Well, I'll tell you
See if you
something.
can beat her.
The head of the Church of England gets £155,000 a week. This is supposed to be a classless society. Why is a Christian getting all that money? Why has she got 5 policies at the time of homelessness? She's supposed to be a Christian, but her 3 sons trained to kill human beings. Trained to kill human beings.
Oh, sorry, who?
Trained to join the NHS. He trained to hurt people.
Oh, sorry, who?
The head of the Church of England's 3 sons, the Queen's 3 sons.
Oh, the Queen's 3 sons, right.
The head of the Church of England gives medals to people who hurt other people.
Right.
She glamorises war in the trooping of the colour ceremony.
Yes.
She doesn't glamorise dustmen.
I know.
She glamorises war.
That's great,
There
isn't
you
it?
go. That's not Christianity. That isn't Christianity, that isn't.
You're very angry, aren't you?
Now listen, did you see Songs of Praise last month?
I didn't understand a word of it. Say it again, more
Did
slowly.
you see Songs of Praise last month?
Songs of praise, that makes me very angry? What?
Well, there was glamorising Trident. Trident can kill more innocent people
Yes.
than all the concentration camps of Germany put together.
How did they
You can't vote against them in this country. You can't vote against them. They call it a democracy. What a sham.
What, sorry,
What a joke.
Did they do Songs of Praise then from a nuclear submarine?
Yeah.
Did they? They didn't.
Did it? That's how
didn't.
pathetic it is. The head of the Church of England gives medals to people who hurt other people. She's got 5 policies when he's homeless.
What?
Look at Tony Blair.
Yeah.
He's got a £100,000 fitted kitchen. Most people don't spend that on the bloody house. Never mind anything else. Calls himself a Christian and he's got 3 houses. He's got 3 houses, he has. 3 houses. He calls himself a Christian. He wants to be able to kill people.
I think we'll leave it there, but thank you very much indeed for your contribution, Tony. You certainly have managed to get yourself inside the skin of this particular hour. Whatever makes you angry, it's nice to let off steam. That makes you feel better. It'll last all week. It'll last all week long. Go away. It'll last all week long. I did say, didn't I? Now I'm going to have a lie down and a glass of water. The footballers used to do it. Now the cricketers do it. The tennis players, cricket.
Yes, yeah.
Hang on a second. Ash.
Yeah, Tommy?
Stay down. How's the cricket doing?
Hold on, I'll have a look at them. Oh, he's all right.
Thanks. Where were we, Paul? Yeah, and the tennis players do it. Billy wasn't really angry. And the reason he wasn't really angry is because he didn't tell us about the things that really make him angry. He was telling us about the things that he thinks people expect people to be angry about on the radio. The truth of the matter is, you have never been angry about the Millennium Dome. Not really. You have nobody has ever really been angry about Iraq. Those aren't the things that really make us angry. That's a simple truth. Your next door neighbour makes you angry. The way that bloke parks the HGV at the end of your road, that makes you angry. It's the things that are actually happening to you that make you angry. If Billy had told us about the way that pipe gurgles at 2 o'clock in the morning and he can't actually find out why it does it, but it always does it around about then and it always wakes him up, because that probably is something that makes him genuinely angry, right? Then you've got all the raw nerves of a complete person, just like you and me. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Carol, you're on the Hungry Hour. Welcome to Talk Radio.
Hello, I'm very angry because someone broke into my car yesterday and stole my handbag.
Yes.
And when I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, I suppose they were laying in bed, sort of sleeping over a hangover after spending the £100.
It was £100 in it.
It was £100, but it wasn't that. It was the credit cards and all the paraphernalia and the photographs of the grandchildren and things that I could never replace.
I know,
And
mate.
I'm angry.
Shall I tell you what happened to me?
Mm-hmm.
I had this little bag that I used to carry around with me, half-inched. And I was given, because it was in the possession of British Rail, I'm not going into details. And whilst it was in their possession, it was stolen, right? And so they asked me to itemise what was in it and they'd reimburse me. So the bag and the little filofax thingy and a pen, right, and some other gubbins, I put them down for 190 quid. Fair dues?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But also in it was about a dozen or 15 irreplaceable photographs of my
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
and elderly relatives no longer with us.
Yeah.
And a little
Yeah.
girl I used to know who also died. Okay, irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Do you know how much they valued those at?
Nothing.
No, they didn't. Worse than that.
Yeah.
They valued them at £1.
Really.
Which was
Really, that's disgusting.
Oh, I didn't ask for it.
No.
They tacked on £1
Mm.
for these irreplaceable mementos.
Oh,
Oh,
that's life, I suppose.
Well, you
but
insured?
It's not. But no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not for content.
no.
But it's not the insurance. It's a new handbag. It was a new purse, and there was things like reward vouchers from Sainsbury's. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I sort of. You know, I mean, anyway, it's mine. Why should anybody else have it? I go to work. Why can't they go to work?
Can I just clear something up? When you started telling us that you were angry because somebody stole your handbag, I caught myself giggling. Now, the reason for that was not because of what happened to you. It was because I mispronounced the word angry when I introduced you. And I said, welcome to the Hungry Hour. And I suddenly realised that we could be onto a great new feature on the show. Debbie calls from Birmingham. You're on Talk Radio, Debbie. It's the Angry Hour.
Hello?
Hello.
What makes me angry is landlords who don't tell the truth, who lie through their teeth to get you in the house, and then they just blow everything. All the repairs are out the door, or the gas safe certificate, that's gone. You know.
Is it the door or what? You mentioned the door.
The door?
Is it the door?
Oh, yeah, the door, yeah. I've got no front door.
No front door?
No.
No, come on.
No front door, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
No front door?
No front door. I've
that
been
is-
in touch with the council.
How did the landlord get round the fact there was no front door
Oh, he was
when
going
you...
to have it put on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Don't worry, I'll attend to that, madam, sort of
Yes.
thing. Yeah, yeah,
He was going to have it put on.
yeah.
Nothing. We've heard nothing within, we've been here since the 22nd of September, and we've heard nothing. I've tried to get in touch with him. I can't get in touch with him. And it just makes me sick.
When you were looking around the property,
Yeah.
who brought up the fact there was no front door?
Oh, the landlord.
Oh, he said...
I'm sorry there's no front door, but we will have it put on. There is a porchway, and then there is no front door.
So, I mean, does it face the street?
Oh, yeah, it's out in the street.
So people can see what you're cooking?
No, not exactly.
Right. Pre-call 0500 10 53 89. Be honest, that would make you angry. No front door. Paul calls from North Yorkshire.
Hello, Tom.
What makes you angry, Paul? You're on Talk Radio.
Mate, well, I work for National Trust on the Cleveland Way. I'll send you a photograph, Tommy.
All right.
I was in the evening paper in Scarborough last year with my dog.
Yeah?
Now, Jasper is 13 years old.
Yes.
And he's a Lakeland Terrier. You know, sort of like the scamp type face.
Of course.
But he'll go for a great big long walk. But coming back, I have to carry him.
Oh.
So I've got this little, I call it a monkey bike. You know, little ladies' shopping bike?
Yes, I do.
One of those, and I built a little wooden box, and he has a blanket in it, so that he can run off, and then we get so many miles, and when he's tired, I pick him up, put him in the box on the back of the bike, and I'll send you a photograph of it.
I'll look forward to getting that. Life's a dream, isn't it, sometimes?
What a wonderful show, mate, and you're a good lad, you.
You're very kind.
Ta-ra, mate.
Goodbye for now. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Now, you see, you don't understand humanity, Matthew, as the rest of us who are involved in this programme do, and I'm talking about the listeners. You see, the truth of the matter is, Matthew, we don't actually get angry about real hardships. But we do get very, very angry about minor irritations. If you were to look at the cause of an awful lot of people's hardened arteries, right, narrowed eyes, white knuckles, you would find, take road rage, for example. People don't experience road rage because they have actually been involved in a serious accident. They suffer from road rage, which is the ultimate social anger, isn't it?
Yes.
Because somebody's driven a bit close to them. Or because somebody's given them 2 fingers.
That's natural.
Or because somebody's cut them up at a roundabout.
Right.
I mean, on a scale of things, that's not a lot, is it?
But road rage is common to all drivers, not just drivers who have been in an accident.
That isn't the point I'm making.
Because it's always been my contention that nobody enjoys actually driving a car. And road rage proves that.
It's completely irrelevant. We're not talking about driving. We're talking about the nature of anger, sir.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
No, I still feel that most of them have been sort of minor irritations.
Well,
we'll agree to differ on that.
No, we won't. No, we won't agree to differ at all. I disagree with you. I do not agree to differ. I disagree with you.
I don't know what to say to that.
No, well, what are you wasting our time for then?
I'm not wasting your time.
Yes, you are.
I'm a regular listener to your program.
You ring up. There's a woman out there who's had her handbag stolen for the second time in 6 months, and you're saying it's minor irritation.
No, I said apart from that, apart from the lady who had her handbag stolen.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been primarily irritations. There's so much hardship in the world, and people suffering serious illnesses and whatever, to be considered. To consider the people that's phoned in today,
Matthew,
for them to have a justification for
do you know
being
what makes me angry?
I mean,
do you know what makes me angry? I'll tell you what makes me angry, Matthew. Is when people repeat themselves and waste precious airtime because you have said that point verbatim 90 seconds ago. So why repeat it?
Well, yeah,
because you're running out of steam, aren't you?
The receptionist did tell me if you've got the courage to say that, to tell him that, go on. And she warned me.
Yes. Why do you say you live 12... You're mad, Matthew.
Why?
Why do you say you live 12 miles north of Glasgow?
Well, the lady says, is that Motherwell, Glasgow? Well, it's not Motherwell, Glasgow.
Can we put Matthew on
12
the
miles
list?
south of Glasgow.
You know the list I mean. Matthew, it's been delightful talking to you.
And you, Tommy.
I do look forward to our next conversation.
Great stuff.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. There's so many people who think they've got to make a witty remark which is actually rude. Hello, it's the Angry Hour from 2 until 3, which is fantastic. You can get something off your chest, whatever it is. If anything makes you angry, preferably, something that is so small and apparently irrelevant, but those things do make us angry. They make us angrier than Saddam. The guy who steals your parking space or something like that. But the other thing is this. I was listening whilst you were talking. That's the thing about television presenters, isn't it? They think that when they're television presenters, they're not people anymore, so they behave like this creature that doesn't actually exist anywhere in the world and never has done except on television. They talk to you like nobody does.
Well, you were one of the very first TV presenters that I probably, I was going to say fell in love with, but had a, little thing about, actually, when I used to watch Magpie all those years ago.
But I still was trained to do it a certain way. So you'd begin sentences like this.
Go on.
You may wonder what I'm doing here, standing under a green awning. Now, who would ever say that to anybody next? So you'd walk away, there's a madman over there. And I used to sometimes say to directors, can I not just talk normally? And why do I have to walk and talk at the same time? Why do they make presenters, if the shot isn't interesting and they've only got one camera, we have to walk? Afternoon, how you doing? Good morning, how you doing? Free call 0500 10 53 89 is the number of the Angry Hour, and this is a service which is just as valuable, even though it is the antithesis of its blood brother, the Wonderful Hour. That telephone number again is free call 0500 10 53 89. And this transaction is as clean, as shrewd, and as did I say therapeutic nearly then? I did. As the Wonderful Hour. The deal is this. What makes you angry? You call me, you tell me. Absolutely everybody who's listening to the show, from Land's End to John O'Groats, etc., is duty-bound to agree with you that it does merit the anger that is stoked in your breast by whatever it is, or whoever it is, or whoever's dog it is, or whoever's telephone it is, or whoever's Bob Marley and the Thingamajigs album it is, or whoever's car it is, or whatever it is. Maybe you make yourself angry. Free call 0500 10 53 89. There's a man who walks his dog past our house too early in the morning for anybody's good. It's 7:15. I don't know about you, but 7:15 is just a tad too early to have to listen to somebody else every single morning doing the same thing. His dog tries to get through a gap in our fence into the garden. God and the dog only alone know why. But every morning he lets the dog, which is not on a lead, get to the hole in our fence, and then you hear him go, and this wakes us up, or at least keeps me awake if I've already just sort of lying there slumbering a bit. He says, gotcha, like that. This unintelligible, primitive rumbling. Why can't he keep the dog on a lead? Why can't he let the dog into the garden so that I could legitimately complain at him? Makes me angry. He just gets it totally wrong. Free call 0500 1053 89. What makes you angry? Whatever it is, we are on your side. Footnote for anybody who's complaining, you can say plonker on the radio because it comes, interestingly enough, and nobody knows this, but you're about to be the first person in Britain to know it, and then when you know it, you can tell other people. It comes from an American baseball player whose name was Joe Palooka, P-A-L-O-O-K-A, and he's widely considered to be the worst baseball player ever. He never hit the ball, nor did he ever catch it. Any times he managed to stop it was when he got in its way accidentally. And so, in the late 40s, early 50s, when baseball provided America with an awful lot of its colloquialisms, like, for example, there was a Yogi Berra, and Yogi Bear, the cartoon character, was based on him, okay? So there became a new word in the American language, which was palooka, okay? And apparently what happened is some Brits went over to New York 20, 30 years ago, heard people being called palookas, palooka, hey, you plonker, what are you, plonker? Misheard it as plonker and brought it back. And the rest, of course, is only fools and horses history. Andrew, when you get there, you'll... Why are the Americans allowed to have a game called crap?
I don't know.
And we haven't.
One of them things, isn't it?
We haven't. I'd love a game. I'd love to... My mum said, where are you going? I say, I'm off. Shoot some crap. And they say it in all the films. You get it in all the films. You know, it's on children's television. I've seen it on Nickelodeon, you know. Shoot a game of crap. Leroy calls from Hertfordshire. You're on Talk Radio, Leroy. What makes you angry?
Well, hi, Tom.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say congratulations on the show. I mean, I listen to it every day, and it's fabulous, really.
You're very kind.
Thank you.
Right,
thanks for the show,
well.
I mean, hey.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, what makes me really angry is I've lost an eye, right? It's a little bit personal. I haven't really done this sort of thing before.
No problem. Just go with it.
Right, okay. I've lost an eye. It was my left eye in a car accident a few
Always
years
the
back.
left eye if you're a man. It's always the left eye.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why.
Yeah, well, neither do I, mate. So I lost that a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 17 now. Frankly, you know, I walk down the street every day, go to my local shops, and everyone stares at me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
What have you got in there then?
Sorry?
If you lost it. Did you lose the sight in it or the eye
Yeah, I lost.
itself?
Well, basically, I lost the whole eye.
How?
You know what I mean? It was the glass. Quite frankly, it was. You know when you. Well, it was. I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
To be quite frank,
Yeah.
I don't like talking about it anyway.
No, but let's talk about it.
Yeah.
What age are you now?
I'm 17 now.
Okay. Well, when I was 17, they were going to take my left eye out.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't work anymore.
No.
No, can't see a thing out of it.
Exactly.
And people stare.
Right. But I mean,
And
it really gets on my wick.
It gets on my wick.
Exactly.
But it's never going to change.
I know, but even so, can't people just accept you for the way that you are?
No, the change has to happen in you. You have to say, to hell with them. I don't care.
Oh, right, I see.
And
that's what you do with it.
some people actually comment on it.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's better than people who don't know where to look.
Yeah, I understand what your point is.
There's a bloke called, do you ever hear of a disc jockey years ago called Peter Powell? He's an agent now.
Yes,
right,
I do,
him.
yes.
He's the only bloke who's ever said to me, we were having lunch one day, talk about X and Y, and he said to me, why don't you look me in the eye?
Right.
And I said to him, because if I look you in the eye, you won't be able to talk for 10 minutes because you'll be wondering which one of my eyes I'm using.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
Yeah, I
that's
know.
an interesting point.
That's how it is for us guys with one eye.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, that's a very interesting point. But
you just got to deal with it and, you know, look away or buy a pair of mirror sunglasses.
Yeah,
you know, to get you through.
Well, I've tried that, but, you know, it's the same type of thing.
Or,
yeah.
Now, this is where you and I, right, you know what they say about in the kingdom of the blind, the one-eyed man is king?
Yes, Tom.
Yes. There is no sexier male accessory
I see.
than the patch.
Well, I haven't actually heard that one before.
Get a patch, man. Get a big black
black patch.
Big
I might invest in one of those.
Patch.
If it deals the women in, you know.
Oh man, you go down the nightclub, you got a patch. They think you're a cross between a pirate, you know, and who was that Israeli general, Moshe Dayan?
Yeah.
Moshe Dayan. Whoa.
Well, I mean, I've got a bit of a way with the ladies anyway.
And there's Gabrielle.
If you don't mind me saying so.
Leroy, get a patch.
Oh, yeah, I might. Have you got a patch?
Of course I got a patch. I don't wear it very much because the rest of me does not look terribly piratical.
Yeah.
What does the rest of you look like? Forget your naked sockets, sir. What does the rest of you look like?
I'm ginger.
Great pirate colour. You mean red?
Exactly. Well, I don't like to call myself ginger, but...
Red?
Yeah, red.
Red hair?
Red-haired.
Red, but red and black.
Well, yeah.
Red hair, black patch.
Well, it looks sexy, doesn't it?
You growing any kind of a goatee yet?
No, I've got a moustache, a little moustache.
Okay, you're getting there, man. You're getting there. You want to be like... did you ever hear of a pirate called Blackbeard?
Yes.
I wrote a book on this guy. He was the most amazing guy ever. He was drunk as a skunk out of his brain on... Oh, he drank 3 pints of rum a day.
Right.
Okay, for the last 17 years of his life.
Right.
And when he used to go into battle... You know those smouldering cords that they used to use to light the cannon with?
Yeah,
he used to tie a dozen of them into his hair.
Right.
Along with some fireworks.
Right.
Because his hair came down past his shoulders.
That's interesting.
And he used to also knock them into his beard as well, so he was a flame, right?
Yeah. Well,
sometimes he used to put a patch on, just because the pirate was meant to.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, I think to myself I'm quite attractive. Obviously, I don't like to speak for myself, but... the other thing that's I've got a big chin. I don't know what to do. Is the other thing. I know I didn't talk about this to the operator or anything, but I've got a big chin, and that sort of puts the women off. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know what they say about men with a big chin?
Yeah.
They got a big chin. That's all there is to say about men with a big chin.
Can't do anything about it. Surgery won't.
But is it square or is it Jimmy Hill?
It's Jimmy Hill.
Oh.
It's a big Jimmy Hill job. Do you know what I mean?
Cool, poor boy. Is it cleft?
Sorry?
Is it cleft?
Yes.
Does it have a dimple?
Yes.
Okay, well, at least you can have a chin. You can have your chin lessened.
Yeah.
They can take chins down a couple
Yeah,
of
I've
inches.
heard of that before, but obviously it's quite expensive.
It is?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I would say that your best bet really is to deal with things from the top of your head down. Really, get on top psychologically of your ginger hair.
Right.
Then deal with your fact you've only got one eye.
Right.
I think you can worry about your chin a little bit further down the road.
Okay, and Tommy, just one last point.
Yes.
I want you to give me one tip. I'm fat, and well, not like really fat, as in I'm a little bit podgy. Give me one tip on what to do. Do you know what I mean, mate? Just one thing, and then
let your trousers out.
Right, I see.
Just
right, I'll give that
like
a go.
it. Enjoy it. Like
Lovely
it.
talking to
Love
you,
what
mate.
you've got. Leroy, it was delicious for me to be able to help you a little bit further along life's
brilliant.
bumpy road.
I love you.
I love you. Free call 0500. I said free call there. If you'd heard it, you might have thought on the back of talking to Leroy, I said freak call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I get cross with taxi drivers who just don't seem to want to take you wherever you want to go. They've got a problem with that. They're going in the wrong direction, or the traffic there is going to be terrible. I sometimes say to taxi drivers, well, you take me wherever you want then, I'll settle for that. John's in Worthing. John, you're on Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, Tommy.
Good afternoon, John.
Tommy, before I tell you my ideal crime that I would like to achieve, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
How can you justify saying good morning at 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day? I'm fascinated by it.
It isn't a problem. First of all, for me, it's always the morning until I've had my lunch. Okay? Secondly, I see morning and afternoon as being the middle of one's day. All right? And 2 o'clock in the afternoon is nowhere near the middle of my day because I usually stay up till about 11 or 12.
So you make your own rules up as you go along?
You have to do in every department, John. In every department.
I listen to it every day and I thought, how can that stoppy so-and-so say that?
Well, I hope you can see that it has...
Well, it makes some sense. If you can get away with it, good luck to you.
There is some thought in attendance.
Controls a major tom.
Bandeliga ola boo.
You really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
Good morning, there you are. I've been aching to get to you. What makes you angry? It's the Angry Hour. From now until 3 o'clock, a Monday fixture. Very therapeutic after a weekend, because everybody gets angry about at least one thing, at least every weekend. The number is free call 0500 10 53 89. And in keeping with this hour's policy, you will receive no disputatiousness from your host with whatever makes you angry. If it makes you angry, I'm angry for you. I am angry with you. I will agree with you. Free call 0500 10 53 89. It's tremendously important to let off steam. It's probably the only barrier we have to that great demon stress. A wall of anger. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'll tell you what makes me angry. There's a man in our high street who every Saturday sets out his stall. It's one of those wallpaper-ing trestles with his anti-fox hunting posters. Now, that's fine. No problem there. But what he does is he drawing pins all awful pictures of animals being vivisectionalized and foxes that have been torn to pieces at exactly the right height so that children aged 4 will come face to face with these atrocities. And that's wrong. And I've mentioned it to him. And it's clear that his belief is that whether or not the children are traumatized by this event, the foxes are more important. It makes me cross. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Trevor Francis makes me angry. He just does. I don't know why. The number again is free call 0500 10 53 89. And if you're a man, do you ever walk down the high street and you've got your hands in your pockets so your elbows are sticking out a little bit, and another man is coming towards you and he's more or less in your path, so you kind of go a little bit round him, but he doesn't. He carries on walking. So you've kind of lost. But just to make it even worse, when his elbow catches yours, he does it hard. And you spin a bit, and you turn, and there's the back of him, just carrying on waddling with that little sort of, swagger that those men have. That makes me very angry. Lack of pavement etiquette. I think it's Pavements with me last weekend, that and Trevor Francis. Don't know why with Trevor Francis, but, anger doesn't have to be rational. OK, let's take the lid off the phones. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Tommy Boyds. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Angry? I want you. This is a 60-minute long seam of ire-rich bitumen, the Angry Hour. Free call 0500 10 53 89.
That's right.
John, thanks for your call. I tell you what makes me angry as well. Men try and look cool when they're driving by winding the window all the way down and putting their elbow on the sill. Usually, then they put that hand, the same hand that's got the arm on the elbow, on the sill, and then they do a fag on with the other hand, and they lean right back in the car. And they would put their foot up on the dashboard if it was an automatic, and they think they look so cool. Hey, they don't. We know what they look like. But it makes me angry. Doesn't make me laugh, it makes me angry. What makes you angry? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Anita calls from London. You're on Talk Radio.
Hello, Tommy.
Anita.
Hi.
Yes.
Stupid people make me angry.
Oh, yes.
I was going to an audition on Friday. It was raining hard, shall we say, and I wanted a taxi place. And I just popped into a florist. They weren't busy, and I said, is there a taxi place around here? And she pointed down the road. So off I toddle. There's none there. And then I spot what this stupid woman was pointing at. She was pointing at a parked black cab that was empty.
I mean, that is just thick. There are a lot of thick people around, aren't there?
Really stupid. I wouldn't mind if she'd said no.
What do you do with thick people?
I don't know, but I wanted to hit her, but I didn't have time.
No, you've got to do it properly if you're going to do it. I mean,
yeah.
You've got to allow, 5 minutes?
At least. I didn't have the time.
Thing.
This happened on Friday afternoon, and I shake every time I think about it.
I know, because you could have lost that audition.
Yes, well, I don't know if I've got it yet, but I could have been late.
What were you auditioning for?
The Ugly Duckling.
What were you going to be?
The Ugly Duckling.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you turn into a swan?
Yeah, hopefully.
What are we talking about here? Forgive my ignorance. Ballet, or is this children's panto or something?
Well, just mainstream acting, but this one would have been for children if I get it. I don't know yet.
All right.
I find out today or tomorrow.
All right.
But if I do, it's no thanks to that stupid woman in the florist.
Stupid woman. And florists make me angry anyway. Don't they, you?
They do, because flowers should be free.
Have you ever met, an intelligent florist?
Not really, no.
They are very, very strange, aren't they?
They are indeed.
Thank you for your call.
Thank you, Tommy.
Anita in London. Stupid people make her angry, particularly the stupid woman who gave her stupid directions when she was on her way to an audition for The Ugly Duckling.
I was in Merthyr Tydfil at the time. Merthyr Tydfil, I want people to know that. And I had to use a public toilet, and I saw that they had installed there one of these new 10 pence in the slot things. It's not freestanding, it was set into the building. So I put the 10 pence in, stepped inside, the door part closed and opened again, part closed, opened again. We went through a sequence here of me stepping in and out of this damn thing for about 7 times.
I know.
That was fine. I sat down and doing my business, and a couple of minutes, water started cascading down the walls.
Hey?
Yeah. So there's water pouring down the walls.
For what? It's just dysfunctional, is it?
No, hang on, Tommy, let me just run through this.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. So there's water pouring down the walls, which is getting my left leg rather wet, so I think I'll move out of here. And as I was thinking that, the door opened.
Mm-hmm.
So I was exposed to the world. Press the button for the dispensing for toilet paper, and nothing came out. Fortunately, somebody left a newspaper there. Right, so I've got the newspaper, and as I'm sat there, the panel behind me starts pushing me off the seat, because that's coming out as well. And I'm there, leaning back against this panel, holding it back with my left hand, or trying to rip newspaper off with the right hand. Right? So, eventually, the panel, well, fortunately I'd finished, but the panel won, and it threw me across to the other wall, which is also busy washing itself. So now I've got 2 soaking wet legs.
I know, sorry, I'm not laughing.
You liar. You're the only one that's heard this story that wouldn't have been.
Go on.
So, obviously, I got myself sorted and went outside, and I was absolutely raving for about 2 minutes. Then I just cracked up. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's so farcical. Oh. But apparently these machines, you see, these units, they are very clean. They wash themselves down. The panel that was coming out behind me was actually going over the toilet to wash out the toilet, you see. But it's not meant to do it while you're in there.
Vernon, thank you for your call. Vernon in Llandovery, what makes him angry, to be absolutely specific, he did say self-washing toilets. But what makes him angry is the facility in Merthyr Tydfil. Dear Tommy, what makes me very angry is that advert for a computer magazine showing a dog on a bloke's leg. Not only does it seem to have no point, it was extremely awkward for me trying to explain to my young lad what the dog was doing. They don't think, do they, some advertisers? Not a priest in Rome.
He certainly is.
How bizarre.
He's a Jesuit. Don't be nasty to my son.
I'm not being nasty to son. I'm just thinking what an extraordinary thing it would be to be walking along the street in Rome and come, poof,
he
a
wouldn't
priest.
Dare do that. Now, what I want to say to you before you leave me.
A priest here in Rome?
Of course he is. He's with the Pope. With the Papa Roma. With the Holy Father. No, what I want... I have 3 other children, by the way, whom you might know, so don't you be naughty.
Are we back to this again?
Huh?
Are we back to this shop in Edinburgh again now?
Are you going to?
This is all getting very funny.
What is?
I mean, funny, peculiar.
Well,
this conversation is.
This conversation here.
But I don't mind that.
I know you don't,
no,
because
fine.
you're funny, peculiar yourself.
Thank you.
But the most important thing in life is that you remove your shoes before you enter the house.
Yes.
Because you will bring all the filth.
Yes.
From the street.
Spittle.
On your carpet.
Spittle.
That's filth.
Understood.
And the dirt.
Pauline, thank you very much indeed for
I know.
talking. I hope your son is better.
Oh, he is absolutely gorgeous.
Good.
You probably know him anyway.
No, I meant the one in Rome.
No, not the one in Rome, not Sebastian. You probably know Julian.
Julian?
And you probably know Rebecca and Natasha.
Rebecca, Natasha, Julian, Sebastian.
Absolutely. That's where we come from.
And where would one have bumped into, said?
Sebastian was the de Medici.
Sebastian
My
is
first husband, yeah.
Your son is called Sebastian de Medici.
Yes.
And he's in Rome.
Yes, he is.
The Pope,
you can check if you like.
I will.
And my other husband was Indian, and his name is Dr. Singer.
Yes.
And they're called Rebecca and Julian and Natasha. And they're in the media.
Natasha Singer is your daughter?
Do you know her?
Who doesn't?
Beg your pardon?
Good Lord. And your mum?
I'm Mummy.
Well, well.
Do you know her?
Yes, of course.
Do you know Johnny Walker? I don't think anyone does. Do you know Lord Bath?
He does the weather too.
Well, I can't be bothered with that, Lord Bath bit.
No.
But do you really know Natasha?
Of course.
No, you don't. I'm gonna phone her up. Don't wind her up.
Phone her up. She'll know me. She'll know me. She'll remember me.
You're joking.
No, just say.
Well, she went singing with. She's a singer.
I know. Just say to her. Say to her. Okay. Say to her that night in Camden.
Oh, how dare you?
No, I'm just no.
She doesn't do things like that.
I was talking about a concert. What's the matter with you? I'm talking about a concert. I know she does. I'm here to tell you.
I was there.
I'm here to tell you she doesn't do things like that.
She was there at a gig.
Yes. What do you think I meant?
Good God, were you there?
God. Yes, of course I was.
And what about Chichester Theatre? She was there.
Chichester Theatre?
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
Friend of mine.
Glyndebourne?
Runs it. No, it's called Paul Rogerson, actually.
No, I know that, but I was just wondering if she goes to Glyndebourne.
She does from time to time.
Who doesn't? That's the only way.
She also goes to Henry Regatta.
You get a season ticket for Glyndebourne and, it palls.
It's awful.
Palls.
Do me a favour.
Year after year, same stuff.
I can't stand it. I'd rather go and lie down on Hampstead Heath.
Well, I'll see you there.
All right, then.
Lovely.
Shall we lie down together?
I have no idea. Morning and welcome to the Angry Hour. Between now and 3 o'clock, it's everybody's opportunity to sound off about whatever it is that makes you angry. The curious thing about anger is that although there may be some dim and terrible things going on in the world, you will find that it's things that are closer to home, closer to your heart, right in the middle of your own sweet and apparently, well, usually wonderful life that make you actually angry. I'll tell you what always makes me angry, because it diminishes me no matter how it is done. Jim calls from Coventry. What makes you angry, Jim?
People who start to say something to you.
Yeah.
And then they don't finish it. They say, "Oh no, it doesn't matter."
I know.
And that really annoys me, because if what they've got to say is so important, they should finish it. And if it isn't important, don't open their gob in the first place.
Yeah, and so you pursue it. And
You say, "Well, what is it? What is it?" And they go,
"Oh, no, it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter."
And you go, "Well, it does to me."
And like, the other thing is, the similar sort of thing is when you're doing something and they say, "Oh, can you come here a second?"
Yeah.
And you get there, you stop what you're doing, you get there and they go, "Oh no, it's okay, I've done it now."
Oh, no, it's all right.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, it's annoying, but it doesn't really make me angry, is if they go on the phone, they'll say to you, "Oh, hello, yeah, hope you don't mind me bothering you. There are 3 things," and they'll go, first of all, dilly-da-di-da, and then secondly, dilly-da-di-da, and then they always go, "Oh, and, what was the 3rd thing? I can't remember now. I know there were 3 things. It will come to me when I put the phone down."
Yeah, so why don't they write it down first?
Why don't they write it down first?
Memory's that bad.
You know what makes me angry? My wife, when she rings somebody, she always says, "Hello, it's only me."
Yeah.
And I say to her, "It's not only you. It's not only anybody, especially not you."
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Jim, thank you for your call.
No problem.
Good man.
Bye-bye.
Free call at 0500 10 53 89.
Breathe.
From London, you're on Talk Radio. Len, what makes you angry?
I'm not angry, Tommy. I'm bloody furious.
Yeah.
I went down to my car this morning. I was in a hurry this morning to find somebody had broken in and nicked the complete dashboard. Everything.
Really? The whole dashboard?
The whole dashboard. You know, where the speedo is, the petrol gauges, everything. Just really well done job it is, because I took it round to the garage and they said, "Look at that, there's not a bit of damage there. Whoever done that knew exactly what they were doing, and that's exactly what they went in there for."
I'll wind him up.
They just removed it. That's 6
I'll wind him up a bit.
of removal on that.
Wow. Could have been worse.
Not a lot worse.
Wow, it's only a
And
dashboard.
what annoys me even more is that I've got to end up paying for it one way or the other. You know, I either pay out my pocket or it goes on my insurance, and next year my premium goes through the roof.
Fair's fair. I mean, you did leave the car in a silly place, I expect.
Yeah, it was. It was in the street.
Oh,
yeah.
for goodness sake.
Quite right. Yeah. The only good thing is, lucky whoever done it, I didn't see them doing it. That's all I can.
Do you want it back? Because at the moment it's just taking up space in my shed.
Not really. Not really. I've had enough. I'm totally peed off with it.
Len, thank you for your call. Absolute resignation. He's resigned to it all. That's what life does to Len. Free call 0500 10 53 89. So what you need to do, if you're going to bottle it up, Jim, right, is make sure you make a good note of everything that makes you angry.
Yeah.
And don't worry, eventually you will explode.
Do you think so?
It might not be when it's convenient to you or people you're with.
I see.
But you will go ballistic.
Yeah. I rang for the bus this morning and I've just missed it. And I stood there trying to get angry and I couldn't.
Oh dear.
Very, very bad situation, isn't it?
Well, my dear granddad had a safety valve for his anger, and he always used to say, "Just my luck." But I think it's healthier to get angry, don't you?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to practice.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, then.
See ya. Because there was that media story, I don't believe it, I don't believe half of what you read, that the Japanese had built these rubber models of their bosses at work, so that if you got cross, instead of letting off steam by doing your job badly, you would go into one of these padded rooms with this rubber model of your boss, and you would pound him or her. I don't believe it, but again, you know, there is another form of therapy which is called the primal scream. And they've got this big van that goes around California going ding dong, like an ice cream van. And on the inside of it is nothing but mattresses. Mattress floor, mattress walls, mattress roof. And people pay top dollar to go inside this van for 20 minutes and just scream, go mad, hurl themselves at the furniture, well, which is mattresses. And apparently they come out of it all sort of cleansed and renewed. So you've got to let off steam. You've got to pick the right person. So let that person be me. Monday to 2 till 3, Monday afternoons. Friday, of course, is the wonderful hour, and we sort the world out in our own way in between. Dee calls from Dorset. You're on Talk Radio. Dee, what makes you angry?
Hello, Tommy.
Hello.
It might not sound much, but people who always try and finish what you're saying before you have a chance to say it yourself.
Yeah.
I've got a very, very dear sister who is the worst offender I know for this. And on one occasion, I changed the end of the story of what I was going to say 3 times just to prove her wrong.
Just prove her wrong.
Now, can you believe anyone would I do that?
Do that. No.
No.
But on the other hand, it keeps the conversation, vibrant, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it really, I'm angrier at myself because I don't have the courage to say, shut up and let me finish.
Yes. Well, you must.
Sorry?
You must.
Yeah, I know I must. But
why does she do it? What's her motive? She's only trying to centre with you. She's only trying to show you that she
knows, believes,
yes, and agrees with you so much.
Well, I can't see that, Tommy. She's not the only one who does it, but it's just, as I say, it's a small gripe. But it does annoy. But when it comes to having to change my stories, I begin to wonder,
I used to work with a woman who never used to finish her own sentences. She was so worried that she was boring that she'd start the next sentence halfway through the one she was on.
Oh, yeah.
So she'd say something like, hello, I don't know if you're interested in buying, only when my husband went to Buenos Aires, and I think you'll find that they're exactly the kind of, so if you want to get one of them or two, I might be able to do you a, then get on to me, you do know so I'll see you soon. Like that.
Yeah, sounds along the same line.
Similar.
Yeah.
Similar sort of, yes.
Yes.
I think it's neurological, really. Does she drink, your sister?
No, not
just
at all.
Wondered.
She just has this manner that there is nothing she doesn't know, which, I hate moaning about. I'm not moaning about
Maybe she wants you to hurry up and finish your sentences.
No, I don't talk slowly. I put across my point quite quickly, or
Maybe
I try to
before long.
She finishes it for me,
Maybe there aren't enough mental full stops in your sentences. I don't know.
Oh, you're just picking at it now, Tommy.
It's lovely talking to you. Thanks for your call. It's the Angry Hour. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. 2 calls from Exeter. What makes you angry, Sue? You're on Talk Radio.
Oh, hello, Tommy.
Hi.
It's really nice to be on your show. I listen to it every day. Students make me very, very angry.
Oh, yeah.
I really don't like them at all. They make me angry for most of the time.
No, same here.
They come along late at night, in the middle of the night, they scream, and their voices are so arrogant, they're loud, they throw rubbish in my garden, they damage people's cars, they move people's dustbins.
They do this thing, they take a road cone, right, and think about taking it all the way back to their flat, but get bored with it halfway and leave it on your hedge. That's what they do.
Well, they say they're the cream of society. I very much doubt it myself. Most of them haven't got a brain between them, have they?
No, but they think they're so clever, and they think they're so original and radical.
Yes, they do.
Radical? When was the last time any of them sat down for anything, other than a handout?
Or a drink.
Or a drink. I know.
Usually sort of a half of lager with a straw each, for 6 of them.
I use a car park next to the railway station every morning, and it's got the college on the other side of it. And they're all arriving at college 10 o'clock in the morning, okay? 10 o'clock?
Well, they're allowed to roll in whenever they like, because they don't do anything when they get there, do they?
And they all walk across the car park as though it's not a car park. So you've got your train to catch, you've got to buy your parking ticket, and you want to get a cup of coffee before you get on the train. So I allow myself about 3 minutes for that. But they're strolling, oblivious. They're not deliberately trying to slow you down. They're just oblivious to anything that's going on around them. And I'm sorry, I thought if you were the cream of academia, oblivion would be down your list of things to be. You'd expect them to be a bit alert.
Well, they aren't. I mean, they stand around on the pavements, and when you come up to get past, if you've got children with you, they'll just stand there. If you say, excuse me, they they look at you as though, you know, they just haven't got any common sense whatsoever.
I blame Blockbusters, and believe me, Sue, this argument has legs. We'll do it another day. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks a lot.
John's in Portsmouth. You're on Talk Radio, John.
Hello?
What makes you angry?
I'll tell you what makes me angry. When I want to go to the toilet and I get into the toilet and all the blokes are standing there and I can't go and I'm really dying to go. That's what really makes me angry.
That happened to me at Twickenham. I was watching England-Ireland and I couldn't do it.
I just can't go. It's just like a mental block. No, you can't go.
Where was this?
Eh? I get it all the time. I'm terrible. I have to go in a cubicle, me.
Yeah, I do. I really hope that the cubicle frees up if it's a crowded one.
Yeah, that's right.
I really
know
do.
you're all standing there. It's embarrassing, man.
Everybody wants to get in the cubicle.
Oh, terrible.
None of us want to do it.
Controls a Major Tom.
Bandeliga hola boo.
If you really bug me, then I'll say goodbye.
Good morning and welcome to the Angry Hour. Between now and 3 o'clock, a therapeutic opportunity to get it off your chest, whatever it is. The lines are chocker, so without further. Peter in Lincolnshire. Good morning. What makes you angry, Peter?
Who's that, me, Jack?
Yeah.
Women make me angry. I am sick and tired of them. They get on my nerves. They all think that they're as good as us superior men.
Yeah.
Their place is in the kitchen, doing the washing and the ironing, and upstairs in bed, keeping us happy and having our babies. They should not be allowed to go on the road driving cars. If they did, they drive all the same type of car, brightly coloured, so as us superior men can avoid them.
Yeah. I think I catch your drift. Women make Peter angry in Lincolnshire. Thank you for your call. Mark's next in Staffordshire.
Hello, Tommy. You
welcome
can't
to
beat that
radio.
Peter on, can you? But I'll try and top it.
Well, what makes you angry?
National radio presenters who come on a Friday afternoon and say, "Oi, why not bet your mortgage, sell your car and a horse, and then he loses in the National?"
I know. I ignored him.
Do you apologise?
I ignored him.
It was you!
No, I ignored him.
Ignored who?
Me.
Ignored who?
I ignored me.
So you didn't bet?
I did.
Who on?
Earth Summit. I don't believe anything I hear on the radio. And if it's me saying it, then I know whether it's true or not, don't I?
Do we get a national apology like Richard Nixon? Because it's a disgrace.
Richard Nixon didn't apologise.
Yeah, he said he was not a crook and he was good enough for me.
But he didn't apologise.
He was good enough for me,
He didn't have anything to apologise for. He was the greatest president the United States has ever known.
This is a bigger scandal than Watergate, though, Tommy.
Earth Summit.
You're a trusted man.
I gave you Cool Dawn for the Gold Cup. I gave you Isterbrak for the Champion Hurdle. I did mention Earth Summit. What do you want, man? I haven't got a crystal ball. I'm only human.
Oh, I can't accept that, Tommy.
What do you want me to do then? What sort of penance do you want?
Resign. Become leader of the Conservatives. William Hay can have your job. A man with a head like that shouldn't have the cheek to go into public.
Now you're talking. What makes you angry?
Disgrace.
The look of William Hague.
And when he wears that baseball cap.
Yeah. I know, he wears a baseball cap, doesn't he? Because he's going a bit slappy. Never mind. Mark, it's been...
Thank you, Tommy.
It's been sobering hearing you. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Free call. Here's Charlie in Bradford. You're on Talk Radio, Charlie.
Right, Tommy. Hate you, hate your show.
What makes you angry?
You make me angry, dear boy, you.
Now what? Now what?
I've only got two things to say to you.
Yeah?
One is that you're a bloody plonker.
Yes?
And the second is, Challenger to bloody lack.
Yes.
Lame donkey.
Yes.
I took your advice.
Oh, you didn't. Why did you do that?
You told me to.
Yeah, but you're one of these people who doesn't believe anything I say, so why did you believe that?
If you were in front of me now, I'd punch you in the nose.
Yes? I'd let you.
Good. I think you should do it yourself.
I don't think you could knock the skin off a rice pudding from the sound. So
I could punch your bloody lights out, boy.
As you were. What you do, if you want to get it back, right, if you back Arsenal and Glasgow Rangers for the respective premierships.
Arsenal?
Yes, and Glasgow Rangers for their respective premierships. You can get 15-8 the Rangers, and I think there's some 7-4 Arsenal still about, and that is like finding money in the street. Good luck.
What a load of rubbish.
Good luck, Charlie. Be rich, see you in Barbados.
You swine.
Free call 0500 10 53 89.
Still not quite sure what's
I
going on,
don't know
really.
about any of that, but since you asked me about the Millennium Bug, I'm going to tell you that I've spent over 20 minutes working out how we can get rid of the problem of the Millennium Bug, and it seems to me that all we have to do, and I'm perfectly serious when I say this, because I'll tell you what my concern is,
Right.
And that is that the decaying Soviet nuclear arsenal is computer-driven.
Of course.
Are you with me?
Yes.
And I don't care about, the Nikkei Dow or all the insurance companies in Britain who won't be able to cope. I care about not dying. Fair comment?
Fair.
So, why don't we just call the year 1999...
1899.
No, call it, just don't change the year.
Oh, what, just stay in the same year?
Don't change the year. Well, what difference does it make? If we carry on calling it 1999, next year, the year after that, the year after that, until we've all got brand new computers, that'll only take about 5 or 6 years.
Well, that shouldn't take too long,
And
should
we
it?
can kick in with the year 2006.
I'm angry.
Now, you see, this is an important point you make. If we can shed our anger by just, giving it an airing one way or another. Perhaps we need a sort of a telephone service, a bit like the Samaritans, only for people who are not so much suicidal, but want, to cause other people to die. That would be quite a social service, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And the other thing is this, 1 or 2 people listening, who might have been tempted to have a fag when they pick their children up from the school, that happens, will think twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you've not just got it off your chest.
You're a good man, Tommy.
In your own sweet way, you've made the world a better place. And we can only do it in a tiny bit by bit.
That's it.
Good man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Kathy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Kathy. Gary calls from Essex. You're on Talk Radio. Gary, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
What makes you angry, sir?
I'll tell you, Tommy, what I'm doing, right? I work for Cash in the End and I sign on at the same time.
I see.
All my mates and that say, yeah, best of luck to you if you can get away with it, good luck. But older people seem to be jealous. They say, you're fiddling the government. But what they don't realise is I've got a V6 car, so I put a lot of petrol in there a week, about 60 quid. So the government get that back. I go out drinking every night, so they get their money back on the beer.
I expect you enjoy a few cigarettes.
Yeah, I smoke as well, so they're getting their money back on that.
One way or another, you're giving it all back. Money goes round and round, Gary.
Yeah,
You're
it's jealousy, Tom. I can't stand jealous people.
You're one of the good guys.
Hey?
You're one of the good guys.
Of course I am.
I'm all for people who get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Henry VIII. Look at Robin Hood. Look at Churchill. They got away with it.
Of course they did, and they become famous, didn't they?
Exactly. Look at the folk...
It's jealousy, Tom.
Look at the folk heroes of our time. Arthur Daly. Del Boy.
Yeah.
They got away with it.
Yeah.
The next hour of the programme, Gary, is going to be devoted to you and yours, people who get away with it.
Yeah, you look at the amount of jealous people you get.
Good luck to you, Gary.
Yeah. Cheers, Tom.
All right, we'll just have to develop a bit of a thick skin, mate.
Yeah, okay, then.
All right.
See you, Tom. Ta-da.
Drive safely, drink carefully.
Tommy, help me. I am so angry.
Well, I can't. Your anger's the right anger. And if I were to help you with it, I would only corrupt something which is good.
Yeah.
That's well spotted. Somebody wants a word with you. Somebody who I think isn't sure quite where you're coming from with this prisoner, Kathy. Well,
fine.
Do you want to do that?
Yes, that's no problem.
Okay, then. Pete it is, who calls from the Isle of Wight. Pete, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. I'm very concerned that this lady, she's so indignant that this chap who apparently is on death row, so presumably he's a murderer, a convicted murderer, he's having his rights abused in her eyes. Is that right? Is he a convicted murderer?
I don't know. I don't write to him to find out what he's done. That's not my reason for writing to him. I don't know what he's done.
Yeah, but you did say he's on death row,
He's
didn't
on
you?
death row, yes, that's
Well,
right.
he's a murderer then, isn't
Well,
he?
you don't know that for a fact.
Well, of course he is. You don't
How
go
do you
on
know?
death row for any other reason.
How do you know?
Well, the man wouldn't be on death row. The thing is, I mean, your indignance at his position is all, somewhat twisted as far as I'm concerned. Surely your sympathy should be with his victim, not with him.
I'm not here to judge anybody. That's not my position, and nor is it your position.
Actually, you are judging him, aren't you?
How am I judging him?
Well, you consider him to be the hurt party in all this.
I don't just consider him to be the hurt party. When have I said that? When have I said that he is the only hurt party? I've not mentioned that.
The fact that you've come on the air complaining, that the man's window has been boarded up.
Pete, just listen for a second. Stay with us. I'm just going to pause, and then I'd like you to continue your conversation, and perhaps it'll give both myself and the listener an opportunity to make up our minds what we think. It's the Angry Hour. The number's free. Call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd, and it's Talk Radio.
0500 10 53 89. 0500 10 53 89.
Let's rejoin the conversation between Kathy in London, who telephoned us to say that the prisoner that she's been corresponding with, who's on death row in an Alabama prison, is having the window removed from his cell and replaced with a sheet of steel. And Pete on the Isle of Wight, who thinks that Kathy's concerns are rather misplaced. Pete, you were saying?
Yes, Tommy. I wonder if Kathy could explain to us what is this strange obsession that a lot of ladies seem to have with people who are convicted killers and the like. We're always hearing about these people who've got this weird sense of right and wrong, and they want to support death row killers in this country. You hear about people entering prisons and marrying these blokes. These people are the scum of the earth. They've failed in society. What is the obsession? Where does it come from? And is she receiving therapy?
Does he really expect me to answer that
Yes,
seriously?
I do, actually.
Well, hang on a second, Pete.
Yes.
Why? Why do you expect...
The main point of her call...
if I may, no. Why can't you have a conversation with Kathy? Why are you being so goddamn badass to her?
All right,
What's she done to you?
Tommy. It just seems...
I mean, I would. I mean, why are you being so goddamn badass to her? You tell me that. You tell me that, all right? Because that is a question that interests me as much as your question to her interests you. So you tell us that. You do it, and then we'll see if you can do it. Then why shouldn't she? How's that?
It's the twisted logic bit, Tommy. The fact that there are so many people out there who lead a decent life, get treated by dirt by society, and get absolutely no help whatsoever, and then you get a guy like this who's on death row, the man's a convicted murderer, and she wastes her sympathy on him. I just don't understand the logic. There are people in this country...
So you're angry because you don't understand something?
Well, I suppose that's a funny way of putting it.
Well, that's how you... No, help me, Pete. That's how you put it. Is that how it is? You don't understand?
Well, it is strange.
No, but...
Come on, Tommy. You must admit, it's very odd.
Don't say come on to me like that, pal. Don't say come on as if I know something and you and I both know it, but you and I aren't articulate enough to articulate it, because I can do that. If you can't articulate it, that's your problem. I'm not going to put words into your mouth. Pete, if you don't understand why Kathy is doing what she's doing, then your job is not to confront her with a tirade, but to calmly and carefully see if you can improve your information base.
I can understand that she feels she's being very humane to a person who's inside.
It's about her. Now you've established that you don't understand something.
Right. Okay. Then.
Good. Now proceed with attempting to understand it.
Kathy, would you please explain to me why you feel this man deserves your sympathy?
Certainly. My answer would be, quite simply, there but for the grace of God go all of us, that none of us know where life will lead us. None of us know what situations we could find ourselves in. I don't write to him because he's a murderer. I don't know what he's done. I've never asked him. That's not my reason for writing to him. I try, in this world that isn't necessarily a nice place, to see good in everybody, and I'm a great believer that in each of us there is a spark of goodness.
Yes, I can agree with you there, but the thing is, what sort of upsets me a little bit, not upset me exactly, but there are an awful lot of victims out there. There are an awful lot more victims than people who have committed these crimes, and perhaps the energy should be going into assisting them.
But I see this man as a victim just as much as whoever he perpetrated a crime against. Something led him to that. Something also made him a victim. It's the way you view things. I don't, I haven't got the time or the energy to write a letter to every single person in the world to try and ease their pain. This is just my small way of doing something that hopefully will help somebody.
Well, I'm glad you've got a conviction and you're sticking to it, but I've got to be honest with you. My personal view with a convicted murderer, somebody who undoubtedly did the deed he's in there for...
Oh, you have to just back up there. You have to just back up there for a second. Have you heard of, say, Timothy Evans?
Timothy Evans.
Yes, who was he?
The name rings a bell, Tom. You'll have to refresh my memory.
He's our most celebrated, but actually not our most recent case of somebody who was hanged for a crime he did not commit, and at least he was pardoned once he was dead and cold in the ground. But you can't say undoubtedly, can you?
Kathy suspect that this man's not...
No, I'm not talking about Kathy on what she might think. She doesn't care what this man did. I care about your, if I may say, rather trusting belief that absolutely everybody who is condemned to death for a crime is guilty. You can't be that certain. You do know that.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, we've seen too many examples where justice has gone wrong.
That's good. So let's not ponce around with the English language. Let's have some precision here. Please don't say undoubtedly, where undoubtedly clearly doesn't obtain.
Well, I must confess, I was assuming that he was more in the Peter Sutcliffe mode, this chap.
That's a dodgy word, assumption. Let me tell you what the word assume means. You assume and you make an ass out of you and me. Got it?
Yeah, okay.
So we don't assume and we don't say undoubtedly where undoubtedly is wrong.
All right,
good workout, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone serious, hasn't it?
No. It has for you.
Yeah.
Hasn't it? Yeah. So what do you do then, Pete? What good do you do for the world? Let's hear about that.
What good do I do for the world?
What good do you do for the world?
Nothing to speak of, but I don't get into any trouble.
Is that it?
About it, yeah.
Oh. So who's going to go front of the queue to the pearly gates then, Kath or you?
Oh, well, I don't believe in the pearly gates, Tommy.
No. So where do you get your moral code from then?
Well, let's see. Do unto others as they would do unto you, whatever.
Biblical, isn't it, for a non-believer?
Yeah, it's difficult to avoid those
confused,
Pete. Those lines, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe you two should correspond. Kathy, maybe Pete needs...
I'd be happy to write to Pete.
Maybe Pete needs your moral guidance as much as the guy in Alabama.
Maybe. I'd be happy to write to Pete.
All right, well, I'll put you back to the switchboard, the pair of you, and you can... There we are. So Kathy's now writing to two hopeless causes. Two men who will die one day. Because, like Jim Morrison said, none of us gets out of here alive. Kathy, write to me as well. Hey, look, who doesn't feel like a condemned man sometimes?
And it really pisses me off because it seems it's junk mail. We've got so much junk mail coming through now. And I think if there ever was a case for a private member's bill to be raised in Parliament now to state that junk mail must not be unsolicited, and all these competitions which everybody keeps literally entering, etc., a complete waste of time. There's got to be some regulation, Tommy, because to be quite frank, I'm going to say I get probably 6 or 7 or sometimes 8 of these a bloody week, and it really pisses me off.
Stephen, I want to live in your world.
Would you agree?
I couldn't have put it more completely. Yes, I do. Absolutely. Well said. Craig calls. He's on the A1. You're on Talk Radio, Craig.
Hello, Tommy. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm not very happy with you, Tommy, at all. You just shot that poor bloke down just because he's not very good with his words. Obviously, the lady's a lot better with the words. And you belittled him and you made him... I felt embarrassed for the chap. He was only putting across his own opinion, and I happen to have the same opinion. I'm not very good with words, and that's why I struck a call with the bloke. But I don't think there was any need to really shoot him down like you did. He might not have put things across to Kathy in the right way that he wanted to, but I don't know if you understand this, but it's very difficult when you're on this side as opposed to on your side.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, but it didn't sound like it for me. I mean, I've never ever felt this. I felt so angry when he started to chat.
Yes, I think he rather began to change his mind as well.
No, Tommy, listen, I can see that she's obviously got a great deal of compassion, and I think we ought to have more people in the world like her.
That's it.
But at the same time, Tommy, I can most certainly see she has really swayed me around a little bit. I must admit, I was totally on. I'm sorry to the gentleman, I can't remember his name. Was it Arthur?
Something like that.
I was totally on his side, but Kathy's made me turn round slightly.
Good.
But at the same time, I don't think you ought to have hit him.
No, I'm sorry, Craig. There are certain things that... certain things transcend the rules or the politenesses of something as irrelevant and minuscule as broadcasting. And when you find yourself in the company of a woman who is prepared to go to such great lengths to make the world a marginally better place and to reach out and offer something to a man who may or may not have done something absolutely hideous and spend her spare time doing that, when people like the man who called admitted that he does absolutely nothing except stay out of trouble, that's his contribution to the world. What's your contribution to the world?
Mine?
Yes.
I just want to be a good
Nothing.
person. It gets a little bit boring. I just want to bring my boy up well and be a good person.
Yeah, fine, but do something. Do something.
Tommy,
do something.
Look, all I can physically do at this particular moment in time is just be as good a person as possible.
No, I don't believe you. You miss a night out in the pub.
Tell me what I can do.
Tell you what you can do?
Tell me what I can do, Tommy, in a short... I've not got a great deal of time, but tell me what I can do.
Well, you try writing to a prisoner and finding out about their life and finding out about them as human beings.
To be totally honest with you, I'm not... If they've been judged and they've been in front of a jury and they've been found guilty, I'm sorry, mate, I've got absolutely no time for them.
Well, on your bike, then. I mean, and down the dial, frankly, because this show's better than that, Craig. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Let's talk about getting away with it.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.